Welcome to FEO on the Air, the voice of the festivals and events industry in Ontario. This week, it's Festivals Helping Festivals SOS. Share our stories with your host, Louise Jackson.
Hi, everyone. We are here for the Share Our Stories, the Festivals and Events Ontario podcast. I'm your host for this session, Louise Jackson. And with me today is Chris Adams, Managing Director of Adams Hamilton and founder of the reIGNITE conference. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Louise, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. It's great to be on your podcast here.
Well, thanks for joining us. We've talked a bit about Festivals and Events Ontario before, so I'm happy you could be here. For those of people listening and tuning in right now who might not know you or reIGNITE conference, could you share what reIGNITE is and what inspired you to create it?
Absolutely. reIGNITE is a conference we host every year in September up in beautiful Muskoka. And it's really a time and place to, I want to say it, reignite, your inspiration on why you may have started whatever you might be doing in terms of arts, culture, running a business. And in the fall, if we get back into the normal sort of feelings of ourselves, the leaves are changing. There's a seasonality shift, and you're typically thinking about what you did right or what you might have done wrong during the year and what you could be doing better. And typically, as a human, we start to evolve that level of thinking throughout the fall. And then we write down on January 1st, what we're going to be doing better to achieve our goals in the following year. So we try to kick that moment off with inspirational speakers, arts and cultural experiences at the event. And then we also have lots of talks around how to do things better, how to achieve more efficiencies within your business, inspiring you with the latest technology like AI, and inspiring you with like-minded business individuals that have also faced challenges in their life and also have either potentially failed doing that and learning from that, or also this year we had a number of individuals that have had some massive achievements based in Canada here, and if not the entire world. And we got to hear from them on what they believe was their level of success and how individuals could take what they've learned and inspire them. So getting back into the why of reIGNITE was really that passion. And I felt like post-COVID, we just had our 4th year here, and we're moving into our 5th year in 2026. Post-COVID, there was really a lack of connection. Everybody was online. I guess the human experience is much needed. And as much as reIGNITE is an alternative, it is a smaller boutique conference. Usually it's 150 to 200 people. All of our talks are typically around a campfire. And that's a little bit different than going to downtown Toronto and listening to a speaker on stage and potentially saying that you have thousands of people coming to the event, but potentially only walking away with meeting only 10 to 20 people. At reIGNITE, the way it works, more than likely you're going to have new friends for the rest of your life. You probably will engage with everybody at the camp. And more than likely, these are the types of people that could be colleagues for the rest of your life in terms of helping you in your career, in your business, ongoing. Hope that answers the question, Louise.
Yes, and it does, absolutely. And I was going to say, was there a gap in the market and what's the difference? You kind of explained that. How many days is the conference? And what does a typical fireside chat look like? How many people are sitting around that fire at the time?
That's great. The event is over 3 days in Muskoka. Typically, it's about the 3rd week of September, and that kind of aligns with the peak sort of color changes in the leaves in the Muskoka area. It also is the entry point or the exit point of the summer and into the fall in that solstice sort of day around the 21st of September. And that again leads us into that transition period. As humans, we start to think about the fall and change. So that's why we kind of picked that time period. Within the 200-ish people that typically attend, there's usually about 3 or 4 themes of content, which could be around sales and marketing or technology or business leadership and personal development. And what happens typically is that we have keynote speakers, which everybody attends. We then have these panel breakout sessions that people typically attend. And then it goes into breakout sessions around the smaller campfires, in which case, you might have 25 to 50 people around a campfire for a speaker. And it becomes more of an engaging experience. And I've had many conversations with a number of our keynote speakers in particular saying, what do you mean you don't have slides? And I say, well, this is Muskoka and it's up north and this is a different experience. We want you to own the content. We want it to be more human. We want it to be coming from you, not from bullet points on a slide deck. And so it definitely, from what I've sensed from a number of very highly successful individuals, it becomes a challenge to them to lead a room in an old school sort of Dale Carnegie way. You have to own the content, you have to own the audience, and you have to guide yourself through that time period to deliver, the actionable items in the subject matter within that time period. I really enjoy it. I think other people do as well, and it becomes, I think, a more engaging atmosphere than everybody sort of staring at a PowerPoint deck and nodding the entire time.
How do the speakers feel after they've done that? When they ask, because that's a little bit out of comfort zones for people. How do they feel after?
Everything is outside of the comfort zone at our conference, because if you show up as an attendee, we take over a whole kids camp. And as an attendee, if you don't know anybody or you only know a couple of people, you probably have a high level of anxiety, just as a kid would if they were going back to camp, because you're now spending 3 days living like a camper, and you're going to experience, I'm going to meet 100 new people. So if you are an introvert, you more than likely will have a small amount of anxiety, and that's totally normal. And that should be, in theory, my personal goal every year, or at least every quarter, or you can have it every month, is, you should be feeling a little bit of butterflies in your stomach every once in a while to sort of push yourself just a little bit more. And so at reIGNITE, we try to push people a little bit more so that they have personal and leadership growth. And they come away with a lot of interesting, actionable learnings as well that they can put towards growing and making their businesses more efficient. And I personally love that, because, if we can grow our GDP here in Ontario, especially on the 400 corridor, that is amazing. And we tend, as governments and individuals, we look at one company. Hey, let's make sure one company is very, very successful. I don't personally believe in that in terms of government and tax spending and things on one sort of industry or one. But if we were to look at how do we grow 1,000 companies to make them more hardier, better, employ a few more people, we become a stronger corridor, or even as a nation, our GDP will increase. And it's very hard to remove that one company if they went bankrupt or if they left to go to the United States. We have 1,000 companies that know how to do business better. And so that's our personal sort of mission, is really to help grow and increase the value of organizations here in Ontario, if not that 401 corridor.
So, Chris, in our industry, through festivals and events, and you've built an event and you're going to Muskoka, so there's some economic impact there. We're seeing festivals go away because of funding and sponsorship. So would you see that as a good event for leaders and the festival and event world to attend this and help reignite their festivals.
For sure, and if there was interest in that area, I would definitely work with you, Louise, and your team to understand how can we get a speaker or speakers and look at what content could we deliver for the individuals that would be coming in that area. It's not just a business conference. I fully believe in the right brain and the left brain mixing when it comes to business. We have had numerous artists perform. There's a band that plays each night at the conference. We've had the Maestro Fresh West. We've had Sloan. We've had Brass Camel. My Son the Hurricane. Last year we had a couple of new bands that have 2 albums out each. My personal belief is that bands are just like startup businesses. They have brands. They're trying to build their tribe up in their social media. They're putting money on the table themselves, skin in the game, as you call it, to build a new album and prepay for that album up front in the hopes and dreams that they might actually make it big. We want to support those underdog bands as much as like hiring a large sort of scale band. So I think we love that. We also have an in-house artist that engages everybody each year. And that's very inspiring. So we have an artist in residence. And within that, art is actually created each year. And we then auction off that art in support of a charitable event, which is, I think, the last few years has been the Season Center here in Barrie, Ontario, which houses individuals that have had some extreme issues like losing parents, and a child needs to get some sort of therapy. It takes like $1,500 per child per year to run that program. And I'm happy to report that in the previous years, we've raised almost $5,000 per year, which is really 3 or 4 children to be taken care of. So very proud of that. So there's some intermixing of business, art, music, and a little bit of charitable give back in the spirit of being super connected. And that's another topic that we talk about too. And I think maybe post COVID we've either missed that or learned that, but we go back to the basics of Dale Carnegie. We need to be super connected in Ontario, and we need to do more business with each other. If we can do more business and exchanging businesses here, then sort of potentially choosing a vendor elsewhere, it's going to again increase the ability for us to go after. Our competition's not ourselves. Our competition is from other countries, particularly south of us. And so we really need to become those individuals that are coming together and doing more business with each other. And that way we can foster this and do better.
And I think that's a neat thing that you just said. And this is where I found the benefit of being on Festivals and Events Ontario, being a board member there, is that collaborative hub to connect. So thank you for bringing that point up. And reIGNITE is all about leadership. So how would you define leadership? And has that definition changed over time, would you say?
Yeah, I would say leadership has definitely changed. Now, maybe I'll make an analogy of raising my son here. He's now 17, but potentially, before 12 years old, you can have an employee-employer relationship where you can dictate your terms and you can sort of say, this is the way, and you can't do anything else. But then potentially in their teen years, you have to start to become more of a leader or they're like more like a consultant or a contractor. You present options and here are the sort of options that you have, and then therefore you need to choose which way you want to go. So using that analogy within leadership, we really need, this is the change. There is no more in this employee-employer dictatorship. We have to really get down to the roots, and how do we create win-wins within our team, and how do we drive the enthusiasm of the team to work together for a common goal. And so within leadership, we have to understand how to use technology and storytelling and content creation to provide those sort of ways of scaling. And then this comes back down to potentially for you in terms of festival events. What's in it? Like, how are you communicating to your end ticket purchasers? Like, what's in it for them? What are they getting out of it? How do they feel besides just seeing that one band? Are you creating an environment that allows them to be part of some kind of group or feeling that I'm part of this experience or group versus just, hey, I'm going to come to a concert and then I'm walking away. And that's the end of your relationship. As an example, with reIGNITE, we have multiple social channels with large amounts of engagement where people are helping each other and they're actually sharing each other's stories, not even from a personal gain perspective, but they're trying to promote other people that they may have seen in the news, and they're actually showcasing, hey, that individual has done really well this year, and then we all like that, and we're all trying to get each of us to have that win-win moment. Hope that answers your question, Louise.
Going for win-win moments. I like that idea. So what are some of the hardest decisions that you've had to make as a leader, and what did you learn from them?
I mean, the hardest decisions always are cash flow related. And I'm sure that's pretty much the exact same thing for everybody on your podcast here. And that is, budgeting what you really want from a magic wand perspective of your event to potentially, what you can afford or what the market will bear in terms of either sponsorships or ticket prices. And so there's definitely always going to be some sort of give way between those two things. The biggest advice I would provide to everybody on the podcast today would be I started small and started thinking of this as more of a marathon versus a 100-meter race. We don't need to be the biggest festival or the biggest conference on day one. I would prefer over a 10-year journey, people discovering that I should have been to reIGNITE in year one, and why did I have to wait to year 9 or 10 to come to the conference? And I would love to have that as my FOMO. When someone decides to attend, they should, they're going to say, "Oh my God, I should have been here." Like, everybody keeps saying this over all these years, and I still haven't attended. And so if you look back, and I'm certain I don't want to overanalyze individuals that some festivals might be kind of either potentially going away, but it's possible sometimes they might get to a point where they may have lost either the reasonings why they have built the event in the first place and the reasonings for that community, and it became possibly too commercialized, and or with sometimes the fallacy of getting grants is that you do become too big, but then when the grants dry up or go away, you're now at a financial sort of issue, and you've also set the stage potentially for expectations of a certain sort of caliber. Whereas if the board could have thought of this as a long-term marathon play, and every once in a while, when you get a grant, sure, you can pop a little bit of extra sort of oomph in your event, but you're sort of keeping it at a balanced, well-balanced. You don't have to be big, and you don't have to go as big as everybody else, but you need to figure out, your community. How are you engaging with that community throughout the year? What's in it for them? What's in it for your sponsors? Like, how are you engaging, and how are you promoting the sponsors, and how is that connected? How are their businesses connected to your event and the people that are coming? So there really is a lot of thought process to running an event, not just for reIGNITE, but for all events. And I think it comes down to even with the Barrie Film Festival, I think it's the second largest cultural entity in Simcoe County now. And I was on their board for about 19 to 20 years. And it's not really about taking a check anymore. This is a game-changing moment, I think, for all people. Like, to take a check from a sponsor, it used to be that just give me money. We'll put your name on the banner. It's going to be cool. You're going to love it. Now, I feel like if you don't have some sort of community engagement and content strategy around how are you integrating that sponsor into your programming, because and the way I look at it is I'm taking a check and I'm now helping you promote your business and your culture and your HR so that it helps you with retention. It helps you with recruiting individuals in the community. It helps with the well-being of the individuals that are currently already working for you. And again, that's the business that we should be in when we're taking checks from a sponsor, is how are we doing all of those things? And how do we do that throughout the whole year, even though your event might be only 3 days or 1 week, whatever that might be. So think about how that works and how you are talking to your board and your executive director and also your marketing teams.
That's awesome. And I think that's a really key point, is there's so much competition out there. There's definitely those different levels, and giving those sponsors that story, that activation, and supporting them. So you're a visionary, obviously, with what you've created. How do you balance that and the day-to-day realities of business?
That's a good one. You were just a host of mine for a food bank fundraising event in I think mid-November that I hosted. It was the 11th year. And again, that's another example of just a little engine that could, and just sort of building it over time. But we raised over $20,000 in one night, which I find incredible. And obviously we're going to try to do that, do $25,000 next year, and then obviously find some creative, innovative ways to keep raising that.
It's such a great event.
So with that, like with reIGNITE, starting in like in the July to September timeframe, it definitely starts amping up my time. Post reIGNITE goes into the food bank conference, and now I'm feeling like between then in the start of January, I get 4 to 6 weeks off where I'm just doing my normal 40 to 60 hour a day weeks, but which I feel like I'm on vacation now. And after that, I don't mind. Maybe I'm a different breed of individual, but I don't mind spiking that up into the 80+ hour weeks because it's not really work, in my opinion. For me, is I just enjoy the game. I enjoy the art of building something and seeing the rewards of it. And I balance that out by potentially, TV is a luxury, or, watching a movie is a luxury. And I don't mind integrating my personal relationships, business, and everything sort of together within that. Yeah.
And I think that's a big piece. If anybody has ever thrown event, anybody in this industry, we have to give a lot of respect, because leading up to events, you can't have a 40-hour work week and say, I'm done. They say events, death, divorce, marriage, and moving are the top 5 most stressful things in life. So event people have to keep moving and not give up. So how do you've talked about your creativity, innovation, and that authentic connection. How do you keep that alive within your team and throughout the event? Especially if there are people with some anxiety and things like that. How is that kept alive at reIGNITE?
It's a great question. I would say it probably comes back down to content strategy. And so what would be your strategic goals quarter to quarter? Obviously, content will probably peak during the time period of your event, which case, like for example, reIGNITE, we have some PR that happens, and there's lots of different sort of highlighting of our sponsors and highlighting of speakers. and there's peak during that time period. But you have to have some strategy of flow throughout the whole year. We did get, interestingly enough, if you did search on reIGNITE, we were featured in the Toronto Star. I believe the Saturday Financial Post paper did a full page article on the individual's experience at reIGNITE and what they got out of it, and how reIGNITE has been defined as more of a different alternative like conference than these larger sort of conferences, let's say hosted in downtown Toronto as an example. And that's okay. And we don't need to be big, and we don't need to do a lot more. It's going to be more of a boutique like event each year for like-minded business people, again, to extend how to be a better person, potentially for myself, how to be a better father, how to be a better community member, how to layer business into all of that, and relationships. So these are like the layer cake of life. And if we get back into it, a community, or you can only do so much with business. You have to sort of be a great family member, raise good children. You got to be part of a fabric of the community. What are you doing from a community service standpoint? That could be, either participating and writing a check, or it could be putting in time towards something. But you have to have this layer cake of, in my opinion, in order for you to be part of what we would call a community and or help build that piece of community. And I think that's could be missing, needs to be talked about a lot more. And we hope that reIGNITE inspires and rekindles you to understand all those responsibilities that you have in life to be a better person.
And so looking back on previous years with all of that and what you've said, has there been a meaningful story or an outcome from reIGNITE that really sticks with you?
There has been awesome stories, and again, they could be just two people have did a partnership in business. It could be as simple as that. There's lots of things, inspiring things that happen at reIGNITE, from patents being developed around the campsite around 1 a.m. To potentially accountants working out tax saving issues between the United States and Canada, to understanding how to build partnerships within either some sort of professional service or technology like companies into the States. So there's lots of examples of those things that are occurring. Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love that. I do have a feeling it's fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's an element of fun. I mean, it all depends on, if you're an outdoorsy kind of individual, you're definitely outdoors a lot. And there are sometimes, we've been lucky the last few years of having some awesome weather. In our first year, there was a little bit of an Irish mist in the air on a few hours here and there. But other than that, as long as you're good with the elements and wearing a toque at night, because it can get a little cold in the fall, that's fine. But you get the views of just beautiful stars in the night sky at night, and again, camaraderie sitting around a campfire, and listening to some acoustic guitar players playing late in the night is quite nice. And then if you're an early morning riser, we had individuals at 7:30 in the morning that were doing yoga on the dock and going for their morning swims.
Ah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Morning swims. I'm not too talented with yoga, so I'm more of a fighter. I love that. I think that it's a really neat conference. I think that the insight that you bring to it, the community connection, the level of that, and that's really what festivals and events are. They do connect our communities. They bring people together. And I think sometimes the organizers might remember that, but our sponsors might not. A lot of community festivals are free and allow people access who might otherwise not be able to attend something that they feel that they belong to. So as you continue to grow and you have this, do you have people that come back year after year that have been coming every year? Do you have the reigniters?
We do. We have a contingent of individuals that have come all 4 years in a row and are coming back for the fifth year, which which is inspiring because obviously there's some kind of something they get more than just maybe just that event or speaker. There's obviously something there that builds or has a checkbox in their life to book that 3 or 4 days off each year to come back. We created a program, and I don't know if anybody else would want to do the same thing within your festivals, but we made them like camp counselors. So we had about out of the 20 or 30 out of the population, we made these people camp counselors. So we had them on posters with their picture and everything, and they said they've been there for 4 years. And so if you need anything, if you need to know where to go to the food hall, do you know where the late night snacks might be, or can you get a coffee late at night, or where do you sneak your coffee in if I'm an early morning riser? How do I do that? These individuals know all the different things to do and how it goes. So we made them camp counselors. And are there ways of individuals? How do you? I guess the question to me back to your festivals is, how do you know if Chris Adams is coming back to your concert or to your festival, your art festival? Like, how do you know that that's their eighth time coming back and they love doing that or bringing? I'll give you an example. I just went to see Andy Kim's Christmas special at Massey Hall, and it's been my, I think, fourth or fifth year with my mom, and that's like her Christmas present. And go down, have dinner, go see Andy Kim, and I think the Bare Naked Ladies were on, and Blue Rodeo, and Tom Cochran, and the guitar player from Rush, and we had you name it. There was all kinds of different friends of Andy Kim, and so there was a wide range and spectrum of musical talents and genres, but under the spirit of raising money for CAMH. But I'm going to keep going back because it's more of it's a night out with an individual that I love, and we share the experience together. And so the question would be, how can you bridge that in the future and then turn that kind of individual then into a community leader for your event, inspiring other people to come to it, or potentially sponsoring or giving more during the event during that time period. So the question then would be, using the technology that we have today, how can your festivals and events in Ontario achieve the same levels now that we have these kinds of things? Before it was hard because, it takes a lot of labor to figure out who's coming back over and over again. But what could you do different? Is there a piece of swag? Is there something, if you knew that that person was coming back for 5 years, let's say, is there going to be a special t-shirt, for that fifth year returning camper so that they feel good and acknowledged that they've been there for 5 years in a row, or whichever for your event? So think about those things when you're designing and thinking about your CRM or thinking about your ticket sales within the Festivals and Events Ontario. We were talking with Debbie earlier around AI, and there's potential of combining some of that tech with AI, and then maybe there will be some festival like grants that might be able to you might be able to apply for and look at the efficiencies of your operations and ticketing.
I like that because everyone likes that special feeling. I mean, some festivals have been around for over, for example, Kempfest and Barrie's well over 50 years. So there's probably a lot of people.
Imagine Mariposa and just, imagine using AI and somehow a t-shirt maker, and you were to go, okay, I've come to Mariposa 8 years, but over a 30-year period of time, and I could tell you what year it is. Imagine making a concert t-shirt with your dates that you've attended on the back, and somehow it was customized just to you. and then that way, now when you're lining up to get a beer or whatever, people are engaging you and saying, oh my God, you've been here for 8 years. Oh, I was there in 2017 as well. Did you see so and so play? That's
Mhm.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What can you do using technology to create cool engagement and getting people to talk to each other?
Yeah, connecting. I love that piece. Actually, one of the coolest things that I did again, and we had it last time, was Game On Barry, and also going down to some of these cosplay and gaming events and seeing the connection that people show up alone and
Yes.
just find their friends and meet them. So those types of shirts could help identify that outside of that. So I love that. Uh,
Yes.
what's so you mentioned a bit about, Andy Kim and your mom and personal life and balancing that. So outside of work, what does keep you inspired and grounded?
Well, I mean, I do play in a band as well. So I am a guitar player, and we raise money for charity. One of our drummer is the former mayor of the city of Barrie, and I believe he's now the district mayor of Muskoka. And so again, I think we've contributed to. I think, and probably in the propaganda or the community, it's probably around $1 million of contributed value over 20 years of playing in the band from art galleries to our Royal Victoria Hospital and cancer charities and art functions. And it's a great way for us to sort of give back and also have fun. And it also it forces me to learn new music and each year, which is wonderful. I'm an avid sailor, so living in the Barrie area has been great because Lake Simcoe is such a great lake to sail on. And I've been a former Commodore at the Barrie Yacht Club, and you can catch me out on a Wednesday night racing all the time.
I've actually seen you out there when I'm on my jet ski.
I think I've sailed past you at one point in time. Yeah.
That's the best. See, there's a connection. Hey, Chris, it's me. Don't run over me.
And then being a parent volunteer at my son's school and making sure that I am part of that community and providing, being a parent teacher event. I think the ski trip last year, I was the parent teacher individual that went out for the 4 days out west for the race team and was able to help coach and be part of that. So I think that's a wonderful thing too.
Yeah, community involvement. And I think that's another piece actually, Chris, that's gone away is volunteerism. Volunteer numbers are down across the board. How important is it to volunteer in your community?
I think it is. Again, just as much as you need music and as much as you need artists, you need not-for-profits to be healthy in your community to thrive. And I think if you don't have these things in a community, then you're not really a community. And so it takes a village, if you want to say that, to make it happen. There could be fatigue, and maybe again, this is what I've noticed. Not it can't I can't back it up with data and structure, but I feel like there is some older generation. There's some fatigue with volunteers. There's about a sliver of individuals around my age that are volunteering, but then below that, there seems to be no engagement, let's say below 30-ish or something. And now again, I can't back this up with data. And everybody at Festivals and Events Ontario can look at their own sort of demographics and who they are attracting in terms of volunteering. But we definitely need to have more engagement with young-minded individuals. They do have the tech skills, and maybe they just haven't been invited in the proper way and engage. And I think, like everything in life, you don't have to rush into it. You just need to figure out how to put your toes in the water, and then how do we do that with that younger generation and get them engaged, and then slowly bring them up, give them board governance experience, show them this is how an organization can work, and the aptitude to do these things, and provide that sort of pathway to success. And maybe I don't know. Not everybody is probably going to volunteer. Not everybody has the time to do it. But I definitely believe that if you were to measure this, a community is probably going to be nicer and more active and have a really cool community feeling if most parties in that community are actively volunteering for something or engaged in some sort of way.
And I think that's one of my favorite awards actually that we give it at the Festivals and Events Ontario conference is the Youth Volunteer Award. Cool. It's probably my favorite one that's given. So they are recognized on this platform. And I think that that's a great note as maybe a piece for us to even promote more and celebrate those youth, because there is a gap outside of that. And we did lose a lot of them because we had so many regular volunteers during COVID and the pandemic that they then all of a sudden realized they liked their long weekends off. They had them off for the first time in 20 years. So we're going to wrap this up soon, but I kind of have two more questions. One is, what are you excited about for year 5 of reIGNITE?
Well, we're calling it every year we have a theme. We have these cool bracelets and things that we give out. Last year's was Go Beyond, and the year before was Vision. Vision was attached because I was inspired when I saw Maestro Fresh West perform at that Andy Kim's Christmas special. I said, "Oh my God, I got to get this! I got to get this guy to come and speak about his life." And so I talked to him. He said, "Yeah, call my agent," and we worked together on it. And he did a keynote. He just got the Order of Canada about 2 weeks beforehand, and then he spoke at reIGNITE about his artist life. And so everybody was blown away that, hey, this is not a business speaker or a technology like speaker, but here's this guy who is technically he's a business leader. Just he was an artist. And so the same trials and tribulations that an artist goes through, probably a business person goes through as well. And so you can learn from that. And he also performed as well, which I thought was probably one of the best. Imagine being in a room with 180 people with a maestro singing. It was pretty cool. So we're going to do a thing called Homecoming, which is really like it's the 5th year. The whole theme is around homecoming. The theme is don't stop this year, which means if you do have something going good, how do you keep that momentum going? How do you consistently sort of push yourself? Again, don't stop. Keep going. There's probably another number of musical references that can help back up.
I'm thinking a few in my head right
now. And then in previous years, I think the second year's theme was Live the Moment, which I think sort of was kind of post-COVID like theme, which was like getting back to the living in the present tense. And that came to me when I was skiing out west, and I had a lot of anxiety. And I was doing my first ever cat skiing tour, and they dropped me off on some remote top of a mountain and full of powder, and then the skis that I had dropped in the snow, and in pink luminescence, the wording on the side of the ski was "Live the Moment." And so I was like, "Oh man, I think this is." All of a sudden, I said, "This is the theme for reIGNITE right here." If I ever thought of it, this is it.
That's cool.
So within these themes, I love the anxiety, even right now, to create the momentum and create the imaging, the content, aligning the right keynote speakers, even meeting the keynote speakers and talking to them, and getting the right fireside-like speakers to be selected, and also supporting them. There's a number of books that we launched at camp last year. I think we gave out 3 or 4 books last year, and the year before was 2. I believe we're going to have 4 or 5 books being given to all participants. And I think 2 of them this following year are going to be launched at reIGNITE as well.
Oh, that's neat.
And so we're using reIGNITE now as a launching pad. If you want to do a press release, do you want to launch your book? Do you want to talk about something? We can do that all at the conference, and we can align all those things together to provide a better liftoff, for that moment in your company.
I love that. So you've asked me to be an MC this
Yeah.
year and
Yes. Yeah.
chat. So that's kind of exciting because Keep Going feels like that's been my whole theme my whole life. How do you feel that a role of an MC can help shape an experience at Ignite or at other events?
I think it's great, and you're coming to there's two other individuals that are like MCs as well, and you're going to be that new individual coming, and I feel like it's the right momentum and the right timing. It provides for first of all, it provides me with my backing staff. I don't really have to do too much when I'm at the conference. My goal is to interact, get a sense of how people are engaging, the value that they're getting, speaking with the sponsors to make sure that they're seeing the same things, learning, seeing patterns, trying to think about what we would do better for even like the next year, even while I'm there for that year. So I'm constantly sort of allowing myself to have the strategic sort of feeling and less operations. And so by having individuals like yourself, you're adding your own flair to the introductions in ways that it's creative. And I don't, as you probably are aware, Louise, and how we interact at the food bank event together. We have a gut feeling, and we know that we have to do certain things at the event, but I'm not saying to you, I need you to do it this way or do it that way. I actually want you to add a touch of chaos and a touch of creativity and ad lib. And I want us to sort of vibe off of each other. And that helps push me even to be a little creative on the spot. That's okay, right? You don't have to be all contained. And within that, I believe that that has that authenticity, that human connection, that vibe of it being real and not just packaged. I think that might be sort of a take back to Festivals and Events Ontario, and some of the things that you were promoting is how do you not look like you're just a packaged product in a world that's manufactured, and how do you get back to that human connection and authenticity of why you created that event wherever it might be in Ontario, and the reasons why the community is supporting you versus, again, a grant, or you're trying to make it even bigger. Why does it matter to the community that you're having that event? What is it doing to bring everybody together?
I think that's a really good point. I love that. The why. The why is this so important? And I think that some of that messaging could really help in our sponsorship stuff. So Chris, thank you so much for being here today. It's always a pleasure. I'm glad you like a little bit of chaos and MC, because so does Festivals and Events Ontario, because I'll be their MC again for year 4. So hey.
Not too much chaos, but just a splash, a splash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm organized chaos. Yes. And that's also another artist is chaos. Anyhow, thank you so much, Chris. I believe that Jay has put in where we can find you and follow you online, LinkedIn. We'd love to, invite you to come to a conference sometime and really learn more about Festivals and Events Ontario. Do you have any closing words for the amazing people in Ontario who work hard to bring these festivals and events together?
Yeah. Get back to the why with your board and understanding your constituents and individuals that have been coming and your sponsors. Why is it that we're doing what we're doing, and kind of getting that sense all over again and not getting too lost. Remember, we can talk about tech and AI and talk about AI doing all these crazy things, and it's going to be awesome. And you're probably going to hear about all that stuff at a board level, but you can do all that. What's that human connection and authenticity and what are we really trying to accomplish in our community when we're doing this event? Because I think that if you can do that, the money will be there. And you can kind of manufacture things and keep looking, but that might not last forever. So I think even that's a message to myself with reIGNITE, is to get back again, always double checking again the why are we doing this, and what is it bringing, what's the value that's being brought back to the people that are coming.
I love that. Well, thank you so much again, Chris. It was a pleasure having you here, and I am very excited to attend reIGNITE and be a part of it this year. So thank you for your time. Thank you to everybody from Festivals and Events Ontario and to the team at Festivals and Events Ontario for putting the work behind it. As always, I have so much love and respect for all of you. And once again, I'm Louise Jackson, and we shared our story with Chris Adams.
Thanks for listening to FEO on the Air, the voice of festivals and events in Ontario.